Welcome to Q&A with Cheryl. Today's question is, can you really build a strong culture with a remote team? So my answer to that would be absolutely, but you have to be intentional. So in remote settings, we don't have casual passings in the hallway. We stop and do a little small talk with someone at their cubicle or catching a conversation with someone in the break room while getting our coffee. So because we don't have that, we have to be intentional. So culture is not about where people work. Just because they're not in the same building, we shouldn't assume that they can't communicate and make connections. So how culture is really built is through experiences that we have with each other. And that's really what it's about. So leaders can build small opportunities for these connections in several ways. So in one of my virtual meetings, I had 5 minutes at the beginning of the meeting where everyone had 30 seconds to share something that we don't know about them. And so we learned a lot about our colleagues, our peers. We learned that one person was preparing for a marathon. Another person, she worked on a farm. She lived on a farm, and she raised chickens. So anyway, and then another person, every Thursday, he goes to this, I guess, improv place near his house, and he does stand-up comedy, which explains a lot, by the way. So you can learn a lot about each other. That only took a few minutes, but the conversations went on long after the meeting, right? It was building relationships outside of our meeting space. The main, I guess, bonus is that we all started seeing each other as people and not just colleagues. And leaders, you can start seeing your team members as people versus how to, a means to accomplishing your goals. So let's talk about another one. Oh, informal spaces. That's another way that you can do it. So I use Google Workspace, and I call mine the water cooler. You might have a channel on Slack or Teams and do the same thing, but just call it something different. But it's an informal workspace where folks can go and share memes, say Happy Friday, talk about the weather or something that happened, or share a resource. But it's just a place that they can go and gather. It's a safe space to share. One of the things that I do in my Google Workspace is, like every other Friday, I do a little trivia with a gift giveaway. So I'll ask a question. It's either about policy, procedure, or a cultural value. And whoever guesses it first correctly, they win a $10 Amazon gift card or a Starbucks gift card. If they're not coffee drinkers, then they opt for the Amazon. That's unheard of to me, by the way. A big coffee fan. So that's just, one way. I'll tell you, this little activity, it does three things, right? So first of all, it encourages everybody to get involved and interact, right? Secondly, I just reinforced something. I just taught something. And thirdly, I taught it without them having to read a policy or have a formal meeting. So it's a good activity. I think a lot comes from it, and we all learn a lot. I think that another thing is that leaders can set up office hours. I think office hours are great for building trust and increasing transparency. Every Wednesday at 3:00, come on in, and if you want to talk through a challenge or share ideas or ask questions, I'm here for you. And it's part of acts of service as well, A lot of companies I have one more. So a lot of companies, they do these lunch and learns. You have to take your lunch hour and go sit in in a meeting room and eat your lunch while you listen. You can still have that same type of feeling and camaraderie with, an online virtual type lunch and learn. So either you can bring someone into the Zoom as a guest speaker, and that could be any topic. So AI or communication, anything that's relevant that's going to help your team reach their goals. So communication, leadership skills, any of that. And they can just come in and speak for 30 minutes. I would keep it to 30, maybe have them speak 20 and have 10 minutes of Q&A. And then another thing too is everybody goes to a free webinar. So you have everybody register, and if you want proof, you can have them screenshot their confirmation and send it to you or post it somewhere. It's up to you. But everyone goes. Maybe you see everybody in the chat while you're there and say hello. But afterwards, the following day, follow up. Ask what they got out of it. What was the one thing they remembered? Maybe something they can apply to their work. What stood out to them? And they can. And this doesn't have to be a formal meeting. Just have it put in the chat, and just have everybody just share. But the important thing is about following up. Why this is important? Because this was a shared experience, and shared experiences build culture, right? So it turns learning into a conversation, not something that they complete, like check off a box, right? So the bottom line with culture is, again, shared experiences, something we experience with each other through conversation and recognition and trust, and ultimately the way we treat each other, right? So we see each other as a person, and we start to connect differently. So when leaders are intentional, I used that word earlier, right? You have to be intentional, okay? When they're intentional about making these opportunities, these little small opportunities for their team to connect and contribute and have a little fun, it builds a culture that even for remote teams, it works. Okay, it's just as strong as in person. So again, if you have a question that you want to submit, put it in the comments.